teachers DNA local to board policy. Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Dr. Avila, a second by Mrs. Moss. Any discussion? Well, I have a question. So, as I understand it, we're going from, the proposal is that we go from evaluating teachers every 2 years to evaluating them yearly. What do principals think about that decision? Because it seems like we're adding an awful lot of work to their already busy schedules.
Mr. Carroll, just interesting.
The feedback we've gotten thus far, once we put it into context that Ttess is a coaching model, and it's very difficult to coach and work with people that you don't see, and that there are some demands and expectations within the system that are different than existed under PDAS for some time. I think there's a recognition that when you schedule a Ttess observation with a teacher, it's possible you have to actually schedule 5 different sessions on your calendar. And so there is a recognition there that it's going to be more time consuming, that it's going to be something that is going to run their calendars to a degree. But I also think there's a recognition in there that based on where we are, that there is some coaching and some development that would be good. And so the feedback that I've gotten is grudging. If we're going to be honest, it's there's a recognition we need to do some things, but there's also a recognition that it's going to be a real shift for how they spend their time and what they spend their time doing.
Okay. Well, I'll go on. Dr. Sutherland.
And do you have a side-by-side so that we can see the changes? Someone in the state of Texas should have done a side-by-side analysis of this.
PDAS and Ttess are, I haven't ever seen a side-by-side. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but PDAS and Ttess are remarkably different instruments.
Yeah.
And so running through them at a domain or a dimension level, just where the expectations are with regard to teachers. I think one could be put together if one does not already exist on the Teach for Texas site, but I'd be happy to look it up and see if there is one, and if there is, provide it for you so that you can look for it.
There might be one in a bill analysis.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not asking them to do it, but a couple of phone calls I think might be helpful.
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to vote to approve this because it's just the first reading, but I would like to. I'd like to continue before we come bring this back for the next one, just to get a better understanding of what supports we're going to have in place to help our administrators as we put this additional demand on them. And I understand that the demand is coming from the state level, but there has to be a point where we stop passing the buck and start taking some accountability for what is being expected of our staff. And I hope that we can clarify that before we bring this back for the second reading.
I'll be happy to visit with you.
Thank you.
Sure.
If there is no further discussion, then we'll please move to vote.